You're listening to the Betoota Advocate's weekly news wrap on Desert Rock FM 96.5.
Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate News Bulletin. The date is the 10th of October 2019. We're recording live here from Baxter Boots Studio in downtown Betoota. My name's Clancy Overell, editor of the Betoota Advocate. Of course, Errol Parker, editor-at-large, is still away on sabbatical. But we are once again joined with the Natasha Belling of the Diamantina Shire. Wendell Hussey, thank you for coming back from your holiday.
Thank you for having me, Clancy. It's great to be back.
How was it? How did you enjoy Bali? Enjoy the sights?
Oh, exceptional. It was good to take in a little bit of culture, and I've just got the glad wrap off the arm, so it's looking quite good, the sleeve. Couple of little dots, couple of little infections here and there, but it should come up all right, I think. So, yeah, it was very good.
That weeping muffler burn on your calf looks pretty painful, but it seems to be sterilised.
Bit of ointment on it has sorted it out, so it's not too bad now. It was sore at the time, but it's worked out all right. The flight was a bit painful with the old sleeve and the muffler burn, but all worth it. All worth it.
Sounds like a great time, mate. What's been happening in the news since you've been back?
Well, there's been a bit happening in the news, and we'll kick off where we often do, in the political sphere. Bilingual teenager with scientific understanding of atmospheric physics, apparently an idiot.
Yes, that's right. An internationally recognised 16-year-old Swede who is fluent in several languages. We said bilingual there. I believe it actually is multilingual, more than 3. You know, as is often the case in Europe. Yes, this particular teenager, Greta Thunberg, responsible for rapidly changing global consensus towards climatology, is actually an idiot, according to a lot of mostly old people on social media.
Her lack of sympathy for the mining and resources sector has drawn the ire of a lot. And Dave Mooney, he left a comment on that story saying that she certainly upset a lot of people with cars or dogs as their profile pictures as well. Elsewhere around the country now, and plenty of people are still doing it tough because of the drought. And we broke a story about one struggling farmer finding a moment of zen amongst all that hardship. Drought-stricken farmer in ice-ravaged town comforted by PM's new plans for Mars exploration.
Yes, despite facing the prospect of foreclosure in the near future, the farmer says it's all okay because maybe one day man might set foot on Mars and that man might be Australian, but likely not, given the amount of money, $150 million the Australian government will contribute to the United States space exploration program, which I don't think is enough to guarantee an Australian in the driver's seat. Just meant we will be part of this journey.
Yeah, Australian aside, it is an exciting prospect. And while he is fully supportive of that $150 million spent, he did say they probably could have saved themselves the trouble and headed inland if they wanted to see what a barren red planet with fuck all water on it looks like.
Indeed.
And Andrew William White shot a message through to our text line after that story, and he said we could have both drought relief and space exploration, but franking credits and a surplus are far more important.
Interesting point, Andrew. Thanks for sending it through.
Very interesting. Now, in news from town, horse girl from primary school now into burlesque.
Yes, with no discernible personality traits other than her seemingly large disposable income, a young woman named Stephanie, a young local woman, Betoota Grove, I believe, has reportedly moved on from horses and into the world of Victorian-era caricature. Stephanie has fully embraced the art of burlesque, including cutting off her waist-length hair and dyeing it jet black. Now under the stage name of Stella Main, Stephanie now spends her Thursday nights on stage at her local RSL and other venues that host performances from novelty hobbyists who like to over-intellectualise their chosen art form.
Good on Stephanie for pursuing something she really loves. And she does sound like she's rich enough and wide enough to take a keen interest in the effects of vaccination upon children when she gets to that stage of her life too.
Speaking of rich and white, what's been going on in the news? It looks like the Eastern Suburbs Roosters may have won the premiership this year, Wendell.
It was a big win for some rich and white people down in Sydney. The Sydney Roosters did go back-to-back on Sunday night, and we were able to break an exclusive story just moments after the full-time siren. That story was, Sydney Roosters administrators immediately begin shredding documents.
Yes, seconds after the 14-8 win over the Raiders, administrators from the Sydney Roosters began destroying any form of paper trail, including third-party contracts, player contracts, and of course any minutes of any meetings with the Eastern Suburbs business owners that may or may not have resulted in a couple of boys getting a house built for them down on the beach.
Dave Fredericks offers some useful advice in the comments of that story, reminding the organisation to quickly shred the paperwork regarding the refereeing officials and their 14th man, the trainer who crucially helped set up their first try. Now, they did go on to celebrate that night, those administrators, but since then, the Roosters, movers and shakers have wasted little time in getting ready for another premiership tilt. The story we broke about that was Roosters bolster squad with Trebojevic brothers, Munster, Papali, Whiten and Ponga signings.
Yes, huge signing news. They've managed to land the signatures of all 6 Premier Origin players ahead of the 2020 season. They've all come over on small 6-figure contracts, around a couple $100,000 a year, and some beachside apartments, and some other contracts they'll never carry out in the financial interests of various companies involved with the Sydney Roosters. Great piece of business, all freed up by the departure of Cooper Cronk.
You just have to stand back and applaud them. Anyway, that's all I've got for this week. Until next week, I'm Wendell Hussey.
And I'm Clancy Overell. You be kind to each other, and as Errol Park would say, stay out of the pokies.